This need to be seen doesn't fade after infancy. It evolves as we do, becoming a central theme of human existence. Philosophers have long pondered what it means to truly see each other and how the gaze of another person can affect our sense of self. Let's look at three thinkers who each shed light on this in very different ways. Martin Buber, Jean-Paul Sartre, and Emmanuel Levinas. Martin Buber, an existential philosopher, introduced the idea of I-thou versus I-it relationships. In simple terms, an I-it approach is something utilitarian. It treats the other person as an object, something to use, something to analyze, to dismiss. Unfortunately, we do this all the time in daily life. Think of how we might treat a waiter or a stranger as if they're almost invisible, just a means to an end. By contrast, an I-thou relationship is a genuine meeting of two human beings. In an I-thou moment, we see the other as unique and valuable. We acknowledge the whole person without reducing them to a label or function. Buber emphasized that in an I-thou encounter, there is a mutual presence and openness. Each person truly sees the other in their full humanity, and in doing so, each is also revealed more deeply to themselves. He famously wrote, "All real living is meeting," suggesting that we become fully human only through these moments of reciprocal seeing and being seen. When someone looks at you as a thou, you feel confirmed in your humanity. You matter. You matter in the eyes of the other. Think of a friend who really listens and sees the pain behind your words, or a nurse who treats you with genuine care. In those moments, you're not an object or an afterthought. You're a person, and that recognition can be almost sacred. Buber even suggested that in truly seeing each other as thou, we may glimpse the divine through one another. Now, not every interaction can be an I-thou, Buber acknowledged. He acknowledged that life requires a lot of I-it functioning as well. We can't deeply engage with every passerby. But he warned that if we never experience I-thou moments, if we go through life treating everyone as an object or feeling like one ourselves, like an object, we lose something essential. We hunger for that confirmation that comes from being truly seen. In Buber's view, to be seen as a thou is to be affirmed as fully human, a relational nourishment every person quietly seeks. If Buber gives us the positive side of being seen, Jean-Paul Sartre offers a more cautionary tale. Sartre, another existentialist, famously explored the look, the regard, the experience of realizing someone else is watching you. He described a scenario. Imagine you peering through a keyhole, spying on someone, and suddenly you hear a floorboard creak. Someone sees you. In that instant, you become uncomfortably aware of yourself as an object in another's gaze. Sartre wrote, I see myself because somebody sees me. Under that other person's look, you might feel pinned down, defined by their view of you. In this analysis, being seen carries a risk, the risk of objectification and judgment. You might feel shame, as in Sartre's story. The eavesdropper feels shame not necessarily from the act of snooping, but because he's been caught and seen as a peeping Tom. Sartre summed it up starkly: hell is other people. By that he meant that constantly worrying about how others see us can trap us in a kind of hell of self-consciousness. We don't have to agree with Sartre's pessimism to recognize the truth in it. We crave being seen, yet we also fear it. We want to be acknowledged, but we dread being misjudged or exposed. Think about posting on social media. Part of you hopes people will see and affirm you. Another part worries about negative comments on being misunderstood. Sartre helps explain this tension. Being seen is a double-edged sword. It can validate us, or, if accompanied by judgment, it can wound us. This is why vulnerability can feel scary. Letting ourselves be seen, flaws and all, opens us to the possibility of rejection or shame. Yet, as we'll see later, being seen with empathy rather than judgment is exactly what heals shame. The third perspective comes from Emmanuel Levinas, who flips the script in a beautiful way. Levinas was a philosopher who said that truly seeing the face of another person is the start of morality. When you really encounter someone, look into their eyes and recognize their humanity, you awaken to a sense of responsibility for them. He argued that the face of the other issues a silent command. Do not harm me. Do not ignore my dignity. Levinas even suggested that in the other's face, we see a trace of the divine. In other words, how we respond to truly seeing someone is a test of our ethics and spirituality. Unlike Sartre, who saw the gaze as mostly objectifying, Levinas saw it as morally inspiring. To see someone in his view is implicitly to say, I acknowledge your humanity and I am answerable to it. I acknowledge your humanity and I'm answerable to it. If I see a stranger in pain, I cannot truly meet their eyes without feeling a tug on my conscience to help, or at least to care. Levinas shifts our discussion from our need to be seen to our duty to see others. He would say human society depends on this social witnessing. When we fail to see certain people as fully human, when we turn our eyes away and treat others as invisible, terrible things can happen. History has taught us this in many tragic ways. But when we do see and acknowledge each other, especially the vulnerable, We uphold an ethical promise. In everyday terms, to say, I see you, can be an act of profound kindness. It's not just a greeting, it's a commitment. I will not ignore you. Levinas adds that to be seen by someone who then cares for us is to receive a moral affirmation. You mattered enough to be noticed, and your vulnerability touched my heart. So from these thinkers we learn being seen is a multifaceted experience. It can be the gateway to genuine I-thou connection, Buber. It can make us feel exposed or ashamed, Sartre. And it calls us to ethical compassion, Levinas. No wonder the need to be seen is so central in human life. It can uplift us or unsettle us, confirm our identity or threaten it, bring intimacy or invoke vulnerability. How this plays out often depends on how we are seen and by whom. Next, we'll also look at how being seen with compassion can heal even our deepest wounds.